We're live. You are live.
Yay!
So, okay. So, good morning, Shawn. Hello, Shawn Howe. How are you, Shawn Howe?
I'm good. I'm good. I don't get up this early for people, so you should feel privileged.
Rub it in. Oh my God, I'm so late right now, and I feel like such a horrible person.
I was like, oh, because I ran a couple minutes late this morning, and I was like, oh my God, she did not put up with that at all. She just left.
Oh my God, that's so funny. You would think that. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, he's gonna hate me. He's never gonna want to talk to me again. And then you're like, what was it? 7:08? Was that when you came into the studio? Because that was your first message to me, wondering where the fuck I was.
Well, I actually been in there for a few minutes, and I was like, okay, maybe I ran too late this morning, and maybe she was like not having my shit today. And
oh man, okay, one, that's never gonna happen, Shawn. You're too big of a sweetheart, and but yeah, yesterday I wasn't having nobody.
Well, and that's where I was getting at. I was like, she's not in the best mood right now. She's not dealing with people, and
So it says we have 3 people watching. So for those of you that are here, please say hello so that Shawn knows that you're here. So right off the bat, I asked you what you're working on for us today, and you said a pinup for Halloween.
Yeah, I'm working on a Halloween pinup.
Any particular person or just a female?
Just a random internet model person, female.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Is she gonna look more sexy or spooky over?
I tend to go more for the, make them look more sexy than. I mean, she's gonna look medium spooky.
Medium.
Yeah, it's gonna be mostly the background that's spooky about her.
Okay, but clearly spooky enough, or have that you. We'll see that she's a Halloween kind of thing.
Yeah.
It looks good. So this, I'm kind of glad that I was running late in a way, because as I was setting up and getting ready to come in here, I'm like, you've been on my Sunday night show, so we don't have to do a lot of the formality of an interview, and I don't want to gyp anyone who's going to sign in and watch us, but I will still have tons of questions, because I thought about this as I was setting up, and I knew you were in here waiting for me. I was like, I want to just kick it back next, like alongside him, and ask him questions. Like, I want to be like on Wednesday nights. I want to ask you things as you're going through a piece, and I don't always get to, because either I get distracted, or the whatever. It doesn't matter. So, what do you sketch her with originally? Was she sketched with pencil on that board before you started?
Mm-hmm.
And then you do I'm assuming, based on what I'm looking at, that you're doing like outlines and contours and some of the shade that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I
tend to. Excuse me. Oh man, I'm dying.
Oh, please don't choke. Dry throat.
Oh yeah. Normally, I'm just yelling at kids at this point. Now, what I do first is I do a rough line out with regular pencil. Just mechanical pencil, 0.05 lead or 0.5 or whatever it is.
Okay.
And then I will go through with a Derwent Ink Tints Baked Earth pencil to do the contour, the outlines of anything that's exposed skin,
Mm.
which sometimes a lot depending on what I'm drawing.
Is that like a
And
pencil color pencil? Like you
what
said that the last one you were talking about, you called it what did you call that one?
a Derwent ink tints pencil. The color is baked earth. It's kind of a
And
terracotta color.
is that considered like a colored pencil?
Hmm.
Okay.
But these pencils are crazy. I use them a lot for textures, especially on like leather, anything that's got to look aged because they have a cool trick where you can do it on, just kind of like side shade with it, and it leaves this crazy bumpy texture, and it just looks really cool. It's a way for me to get, like if I'm drawing like a leather jacket or something like that, it just comes in handy there. Or if I'm doing stone in a background or something, it helps.
And is it that particular color that you're using, or do you use a variation of colors with that kind of pencil?
I use a few different colors. Their black pencils are great, and I have one around here somewhere. As you can tell, my desk is terribly, but
Well, your desk reminds me of the picture I think, and I'm pretty sure you saw it. The picture I posted where I had all the, I had all the pens and the pencils and all that stuff all out on my bed because I literally like I had everything dumped out. Did you remember? Did you see? I mean, no, I'm
yeah,
fairly.
I saw that.
Yeah, the one where I said I dropped my bucket of pencils behind my bed. Oh my god.
Oh
Okay,
man,
so yeah, because when I transitioned to Canvas, I was still sketching primarily with pencil, and then I would do some inking with pens and stuff. And then I would do pencil colors. I used pencil colors on paper, and then paint. Like that's like I would use all those different mediums. But then when I transitioned to Canvas, um, I was penciling on the canvas with a regular pencil,
hmm
which is fine. But depending on the piece, using black not a good idea. So of course I sought, internet suggestions and using pens, not necessarily the particular type that you described, but one lady was like, if you have a vision of the general basic outline of your painting, pencil color it with pencil colors. And so I'm like, okay. And I had some, but then I went and looking at supplies. I get so crazy in an art supply store. Do you do that? Do you have to avoid going to like an art supply store because you'll spend money you probably shouldn't be spending?
yeah,
Can
absolutely,
you relate? Can you relate
yeah,
to that? So
definitely.
yeah, I ended up getting the set that are specifically watercolor pencils, meaning so that when I do sketch, if I sometimes I don't have to do a sketch. That was my proud canvas painting moment, was when I could just grab a paint canvas or just grab a blank canvas and just go, like just start painting and do whatever I was going to do. And I didn't have to do a bunch of pre-sketch kind of stuff, but that was kind of cool. But I still will. I absolutely will.
I'm not there yet. I mean, I have to pre-sketch. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm just too much of a control freak about this stuff because it's like,
Oh, I totally have to when it comes to paper stuff. I mean, once in a while I don't, but yeah. So the right now you're all of what you've done so far is her skin tone, correct?
right. Um, okay, so most people that I've seen will do like a pencil sketch and then they'll ink it,
Yeah,
and they'll do colors.
right.
Kind of different in that I'll do pencil, then color pencil, and then I'll do the flesh tones first because if I go over the lines, obviously, it's fine with flesh tones because generally their clothes are darker. What
Yeah.
if their clothes are lighter, then I'll do the clothes first. So like,
Ah.
she's a spooky little goth chick in a graveyard, so she's obviously going to be wearing black. So
Which is good. Which is good because, right, like when you get to that point, if there is anything that's over the lines and stuff, you can clean that up when you do the clothing.
yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
So I work a little bit backwards, and I do like the darker skin tones
Mm-hmm.
before I come in with the lighter skin tones, which everybody else is like, what? You got to go light to dark. No, because the way it blends for me is do the darker first and then go over it with the lighter, and it kind of blends out that darker tone. It mutes it a little bit.
Yeah,
Um,
that's I am no yeah, I was totally noticing that. I'm like I was trying to think. I I think I would say that I'm probably the opposite, which is not necessarily good or bad. Although like when I did when I did that piece Belle, I definitely did her outline first, but I want to say I'm trying to remember. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. So I dig this actually, like, because in so many ways, Shawn, like you could probably just leave it without having to put any lighter tones in there. Looking at her, I mean, I'm just going off of what I'm seeing as you're working your magic. For those of you watching, we have a couple people there. Give us a comment. Let us know you're here. I am gonna get to literally give this man all of my full attention as he's doing what he's doing. I've seen you live doing what you're doing a lot of times, but I'll be the
what are you working on today?
well, I'm working on you.
Yeah, baby.
That's right. No, I really
I feel special.
I want to thank you. I know you. I already said it, but I want to thank you for being so gracious and understanding of me being late. And then I may get something out and sketch it while I'm here with you. But what I was saying was I'll be the first to admit that on a Wednesday night for the Shawnzilla Art Show, I do a lot of my own stuff at the same time. So there's this magic, and I don't know if you can relate, but when I'm listening and you guys are on and you're there, I'll look up and I'll watch you do what you do, and then I'll go back to whatever art piece I'm working on, which is fine. But I really am legit just sitting here going, I'm kind of digging this, just sitting alongside you and getting to talk to you while you're working and not have to worry about working on anything.
Okay, well, I certainly get that.
Okay.
And I'm definitely glad that, while you're watching me, you're working on your stuff too, because,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want anybody just to kind of, give me their undivided attention.
Well,
But,
you do right now, because I'm sitting here now thinking, man, like this is actually the perfect forum for me to really watch what you're doing, because I'm looking at.
You want me to like start calling out colors and stuff when I'm using them, or you want me just to kind of? Because like I'm a terrible teacher. Okay, so
No, I'll ask you. I want you to be able to get into, well, you already are there. You're in your mode. You're in whatever that is that you have to get into to do your art. So I love how, and correct me if I'm wrong, but her shading is darker on one side. I'm assuming because of the lighting that you're going to use later, yeah. I love the depth that you're giving that space on each side of her face, because I'm sure that's gonna, yeah. Do you do her do you give them eye color? Did she have eye color?
Yeah, she's gonna have green eyes.
Green.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been on a green eye kick lately. I don't know why.
Do you ever get someone telling you, "Oh, you should leave it just the way it is"? like I see it right now. Like there's it's the rest is not painted. It's just her. Like Shawn, I've seen people with something just like this, where it's just maybe fleshed out, and and then they leave the rest. And there's so many people that are fine with that.
Yeah, I did a Snake Eyes drawing once. It was a G.I. Joe character named Snake Eyes who, if you grew up watching G.I. Joe, he was like always the coolest character because he never spoke, and it was the 80s, but don't judge us. Anyway, so.
Did you clarify that it was from G.I. Joe, because I need to be told these extra little details because I don't know.
Yeah, well, I've learned over the years that, especially when and please don't take this the wrong way, but if I'm talking to girls, I need to, not just assume that they watched all the same cartoons in the 80s that I did. So,
I'm dying because, like, didn't you do a Snake Eyes during one of your Wednesday night shows?
I did, and I need to.
I'm fairly certain I've seen him paint a sketch of Snake Eyes. Well, it's funny. It's funny because yes, even before you did that piece on that Wednesday show, I think I asked you, or you said who it was or something, but I played with my brother's G.I. Joe dolls and stuff, and when you said Snake Eyes, not today, but when you said it on that Wednesday show, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Like I remembered who he was, but yes, I appreciate the extra information because I don't retain all of that stuff in my head.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm a wealth of useless knowledge. No, I am great at trivia night, but.
Oh, I bet that would be so fun. So I just realized, like, I did have some different things I put in, because you've been on my Spotlight show before, and I did put some new questions in that I had never asked you, or hadn't ever, because these are new. I kind of wanted to shift up and change up some of my Q&A questions for my Spotlight shows. So while you're working your magic, I thought I'd go through just a few of those new little things to learn those new little tidbits about Shawn.
Absolutely. Ask away.
Okay. So wrong one. Okay. What's the one movie you'll recommend before any other movie to your friends and family, or to just random people? Like, what's that one movie?
Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
That's a great choice. They didn't do a single scene together, and then the one scene they do have in the actual movie, they were not in the room. They filmed their scenes individually.
So the scene in the diner, they're not in there together?
Nope. They hated each other so much. Actually, let me rephrase. They presumably hated each other so much that, and to some degree, they didn't get along at all, and that's why. But supposedly it had a lot to do with this big feud and a bunch of hate and jazz. Supposedly, it's very, who knows, right? But no, they were not in that room together. They were not in the diner together. The first time Al Pacino and Robert De Niro appeared in a scene together at the exact same time in the same room was in the new movie. I want to say in The Irishman or something newer that Robert did. But Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, they're these two super, super rad Italian actors, and for whatever reason they just they hadn't so yeah.
The movie
The Irishman, yeah. So in The Irishman, they actually have a couple of scenes, or there's a scene, and the only reason I know any of this is because of how significant it was when they finally did shoot an actual scene together. That's pretty interesting.
That is awesome. Heat is just like it's the closest thing to a perfect movie for me. I mean, it's
Mhm.
and my friends hated it so much. He's like, that scene in the diner, they're basically just jerking off. And it's like, just shut up. There's more action going on in that scene than in most fight scenes.
The one where they're in the diner.
Yeah, because I mean that's the part where the two characters finally meet up and they're feeling
Yep.
each other out, and I mean it's total chess game.
Yeah,
And
and it does. Does it make it? Does it make it more or less anything in particular, knowing that they weren't in the same room when they filmed that?
I think it makes it cooler
Makes it cooler,
because
right? Well, because I
yeah,
think that I'll let you answer it, but that thing you were just describing about that scene, I think to a lot of degree it probably came through because they weren't in the room together, and whatever those two actors have, it they weren't even playing off of each other, which may have added to the mystique of the scene.
it definitely does now that I knowing what I know now about it.
So the next thing I put in here is, do you like musicals? And if so, do you have a favorite?
I do not like musicals, but there are some exceptions. Yeah.
Okay.
I
What's
love I
your
love
exception?
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yay. Good. That's good.
I was I was one of those kids at midnight going to the theater for it.
Did you ever dress up?
Um, yes, and
Ooh. What
there
did
is a
you do
picture.
that?
There is a picture somewhere of that.
Really? Really? I
Yeah.
want to see. Well, okay, what did you dress up as? Did you dress up as Frank?
Um, Not the full Frank, but yeah, like I was in drag, but I wasn't, like fully franked out. It was randomly thrown together, and yeah, there is a picture of it somewhere.
Were you wearing pants?
No, well,
I gotta see
it,
this picture. I want to see this
it,
picture.
it's hard to explain, but yeah, it was.
Like, just how naked were you in this picture,
No, I
Shawn?
wasn't that naked, but I was in drag, and yeah, yeah,
I've
it,
I've I didn't go a lot, and I didn't get to go. I mean, I had seen the movie a lot long before I had actually gone to an actual show in person. I had seen the movie a lot.
mhm.
I would either um, definitely have seen it in a theater only because I've gone to shows now or gone to shows since, but um, I've only gone dressed up twice. Once I dressed up as Frank, but I was not wearing anything like what he was wearing, but you could tell I was paying him like my you could tell that I was going for him in my dress and my getup. But then I went again as Magenta, and I'm one of those people, if I'm gonna play or dress as a character, I'm either going to go all in and I'm going to be exactly what they look like to the T, like head to toe, or I'm going to do my own. And I know you'll appreciate this because you follow enough of my art to know. Like, you can tell who it is. Like, you could tell I was Magenta, but it was in my way. Like, it was with a different kind of dress, different kind of, visual. But it was clear I was her, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah, definitely, and that's more or less the same thing I did with Frank,
yeah.
because I, I wasn't going to be able to pull off the whole thing, but I just kind of adapted some Frank into what I
And
was
then
doing.
the next question is sneakers or boots? Sneakers, huh?
Yeah, around the house, sneakers. If I'm, if I got to go out and do stuff, I'll probably wear like work boots or something. I'm assuming you're asking if I wear sneakers or boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to grab the, let me click on, okay. Then, so that going along with that, hoodie or jacket?
Jacket. Just because I like hoodies, and ideally I want hoodies, but I like for that kind of stuff to be like really big on me, and I'm a really big guy, so it's hard to find hoodies that would fit that.
Well, I'm not like I had gotten a hoodie from the gentleman I had mentioned, the one that had passed, and he was I ordered this hoodie on his Etsy shop or whatever, and I order a 3X and he messages me before he fulfills the order because he was a little like, he's like, there's no fucking way, right? Because, and he was like, he's like, I don't know what, and so he messaged it. He goes, you are not a 3X. Because I order my hoodies, Shawn, when I order or buy a hoodie, I'm going for 2, 3X's or whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm a medium. Technically, I'm a medium. In like if I were doing t-shirts or shirts in general, I can get into a small depending on how it's cut. But so when he saw 3X, he's like, what the fuck? No way. And he was, he didn't want to continue the order because he's like,
yeah, I thought, well, maybe she messed up and ordered
right,
the wrong thing.
Exactly. Okay, so maybe I have the answer to this one already, but morning or night?
Night.
I was like that one. I kind of already know the answer to this.
But I will say this, addressing the hoodie issue. If I have hoodies, I fully understand that I'm not going to be wearing them. Whoever I'm with is going to be wearing them.
I'm going to totally believe that you said that just to make sure I knew that I could take your hoodie. Did you see the stand-up comedy thing I wrote about hoodies versus jackets?
Yes, I did.
He goes, let me make sure.
I agree with that.
Well, let me make sure she understands that she could take my hoodies. It really is like it's almost there. We're not quite here yet, but we're almost to what we affectionately have entitled the hoodie stealing season. It's like, okay, this is not my life now, Shawn. I don't live this life now, but there was a time where I would collect more than one hoodie during hoodie season.
Oh no, I understand.
Not because I was on an actual hunt for hoodies, but it's a thing, man. It's a thing.
Oh, believe me, I understand. There was a thing. Okay, so I worked in club business for 7 years.
Okay.
And some of them are the standard like dance club type things and stuff like that, but the club company I worked for owned 50 clubs, and most of them were those kind of clubs.
Yeah.
So
have we talked about this before? The strip clubs, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of sex clubs in California. There's only one in San Diego, but LA supposedly, I don't know this personally, but supposedly LA still has some.
Oh no, I didn't work in those clubs.
In those clubs. Well, San Diego has one, and I don't even know if it's still open. To be honest, how would I know? I don't go to those kinds of places. Anyway, I got you off topic. So, okay, you're working in that industry. You're working at those clubs.
There was when I worked for Tiffany's, which was one of the strip clubs. When you work in that business, it's kind of hard to date regular people because number one, you're on this weird vampire schedule. And, number two, when girls find out that you work in strip clubs, they're like, ew. So you pretty much just date strippers.
Or did you find girls act like all insecure because you were around a bunch of strippers, like they couldn't trust, maybe like they were not trusting that you weren't dating those chicks? Did you get that from women you were dating?
Yeah, it just complicated things.
Right. And then, like, did you ever date any of the girls?
Oh yeah, I married one of them.
Oh really? Oh great. This is just okay.
Yeah, not the high point of my life, but
well, she's the mother of your children, right?
Yeah.
Could be worse.
I'll give her credit for that.
Yeah, so I'm going to move you along. What?
I said bitter. It's bad.
Nope, I'm going to move you along. Olives or pickles? These are, I told you I added important questions in this.
Pickles, definitely, because I'm allergic to olives.
Really?
Yeah.
What happens to you if you accidentally have an olive?
Well, my throat closes up, and I go into allergic reactions, and I could die.
What is it? Do you know what it is in olives that makes that happen?
No.
How wild. I mean, I'm glad that you're still here, because that would be, well, I mean, I guess it's probably harder to accidentally eat an olive, but I know, some people, allergies can be really dangerous, like super bad.
Oh yeah. And like olive oil, because everybody wants. It's not so much now, but for a while, everybody wanted to put olive oil on everything, and so that got interesting. And I love Mediterranean food, so I have to be very careful and explain. Hey guys, I know you want to use a bunch of olives and
I just got super sad because olives, when you said olives, I'm like, okay, or you said allergic to olives or whatever, but I'm like, but then you just said you can't even have olive oil.
Mm-mm.
That is so.
I can in small quantity, but you know how you go out to Italian food and stuff, and the bread with the olive oil that you can dip into it and stuff. Yeah, I can't mess with that.
Oh my God, that's olives are one thing, but to my head is kind of swimming on it because I there's a few things that, to some degree, I don't think it matters what oil I use depending on what I'm cooking. But then there's a few other things where if it's not olive oil, if I don't have olive oil, it's might as well just give up. And that's why I'm tripping. I'm like, whoa, okay, wow. So the next one is American cheddar or other. Do you have a cheese preference?
It's awesome. I love cheese. No, seriously, I'm a cheese fanatic. My favorite cheese is smoked Gouda.
That's unique. That's unique. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm weird like that, but
you're weird like that. Well, you're something. Haha.
Yeah, I am something.
So I'm noticing she's going to be a redhead, or is a redhead.
Yeah.
Where did the redhead thing come from? Do you like redheads in general? Is that a thing for you? Or are you one of those guys?
I am one of those guys.
So when did that start? When was the earliest age that you can remember being into redheads?
I think it started with Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I would see that, not necessarily just with you, but just men in general. She definitely has that effect. or had that effect. And was there, so it started with Daphne. Any other, oh, we have a comment. We have our first comment. Who's here? Who's here? Hello, good morning, Glenn. Shawn's work area looks like mine, like a bomb was hit. No kidding. We talked about that,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So the red, okay, so when you do the red, I know you did the outlines first. I saw the darker red, and now are you adding more contour, more shading? Is that what you're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then
nobody's hair is like, you know, just straight red like that. It's always kind of an auburn or,
yeah.
You know.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No one's hair is just one color. So then, other than Daphne, was there any other redhead that came along that gave you that, like, reaffirmed?
Like
give me your next favorite. Jean Grey?
Man, yeah. Oh, man. You know, and I mean, I hate to sound like a total, you know, geek fanboy over that, but I mean, yeah, that's where that came from. And
was Jean Grey, just out of curiosity, is Jean Grey the character in the X-Men series, like in the comic books from whatever? Is she a redhead?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because so it wasn't just in the movies.
No.
They do that. The only reason I ask is because they do that. They take a character and appropriate it and make it other stuff. So the last one is ham or turkey?
Turkey.
This is funny when I think about these last three questions. If I had kept the question in about mayonnaise versus Miracle Whip, it would sound like I was doing my recon to make men a sandwich. Of course, in my opinion, if a woman can get up and make you a sandwich, you ain't done.
Yeah, you don't deserve the damn sandwich.
So those were the extra new ones that I added to the lineup of question Q&A type stuff. Most of everything else I have in here, I've asked you in the past, and I was
I just realized this light is on. I need to turn it off. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there going to be any kind of a background or scene behind her?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm keeping the pumpkins from the reference picture, and probably the candles. I have a hair that is like stuck to my face, and it's like really bothering me. So that's why I'm like itching at my face.
Oh, I get this. I
promise I'm not like, you know, going through withdrawals or anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just kind of like a little spooky graveyard setting with the, you know, the jack-o'-lanterns and stuff like that.
Okay. Oh man, I don't know what the F. I was trying to find something and I'm not finding it. What else was I going to ask you? Okay, so these, I don't remember if we did these during your show. I don't think we did. These are actually not me. I didn't create these questions. I stole them. What's your greatest turn on? Other than me.
It's a really good question. Hell, I don't know at this point.
Covered the red hair. We know that.
Well, yeah, there's that. You know what? Just someone who really just wants to be there with you, you know. Even if it's like not something that you're particularly like into, like, you know, you were going to like a Comic Con or something like that, you know, just you doing that, you know, just showing that you give a crap what I'm into.
Yeah, I totally get that. And being present or someone's company, like Oh man, I love passion and heat and craziness that's sexy. It's kind of fun. But what you just described is an intimacy that doesn't come overnight sometimes. But if like where you can just kind of sit along someone and have. Did you see the movie Pulp Fiction? I'm assuming you did.
Oh yeah.
You know that line where she's talking about uncomfortable silence or whatever? Or comfortable silence. Like that silence you get with a person that's comfortable and you don't feel like you have to speak. Do you feel like that? If that is
just having being with somebody who you don't have to fill the space.
Right.
Like you can just, be comfortable with said person.
I love that. Yeah. What's your biggest turn off?
I hate drunk people. Like I cannot stand being around drunk people.
Is that from your years of working in that industry of people going to those clubs and stuff, you think?
A little bit, yeah. That also comes from my marriage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there, done that. That's one of the reasons why a lot, because as you know, I don't drink. So it's one of the reasons why I've had relationships that don't last because I could probably be around it to a certain degree, but yeah, then I'm out. I'm like no.
Yeah, and see, I'll have a drink or two or whatever, but the problem is, I spent 7 years working in clubs, and then after that, about 5 years bar managing, like restaurants and stuff. So I went through so many serve safe and care and other like that classes because when you're in the bar industry, you got to really be on your shit because if someone leaves your establishment intoxicated and they get into a wreck and kill somebody, you can be held liable.
That's not good.
No, because you technically overserved them.
Right.
Who can say that? But so, if I'm having a drink or two, it's so ingrained in my head. It's like, okay, I'll like watch myself to see, how close to fucked up I am or whatever like that. And my kids will never ever see me fucked up. Like I haven't been drunk since I was probably 17.
Oh wow, that's good. That's good.
Well, and the main thing is because you always hear people say, "Oh, I was so drunk the other night," or "I did that because I was drunk," or whatever like that. It's like, no, you did that because you're an asshole. And
yeah. Well, that's just it. Like like that behavior. Okay, there are probably legitimate occurrences where you are so inebriated you don't recall, or you do something you don't recall. But even that is, well, then why did you allow it to get to that point? Why did you allow yourself to go there or whatever? But
yeah, and I can't allow myself to be not in control of my own actions. So
yeah, I definitely like that's definitely something.
That got heavy real quick, didn't it?
Oh no, I get it though. I get it because it's been a really long time. It's been over 10 years for me since I used or drank it, and I even that clear brain.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you, sweetie. So there's this clearness in my head. Now it took years. It didn't come overnight. I was still kind of very much in a fog after I got sober for a while. I was still very much, especially until I had done a lot more soul work on my emotional stuff and my mental stuff and my trauma stuff from my childhood. Until I had done all of that work, I was, even now, I only have one thing, really, two things, because I did start smoking again. But other than that, the one thing that I still I fall prey to is if I do fall for someone, or if I am in a relationship with someone, it's getting easier. It's getting, well, easy is a terrible word for it, but it takes me forever to really extricate myself from someone. It's hard. It's really hard for me to do that. And I think some of it, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but some of it is because of how impossible it is to get me to give anyone my attention like that. Like I don't fall very often. Like I don't, and when I do, it's usually all or none. And then I'm insane. I don't have any middle ground, Shawn. You're either just some random normal other dude guy to like the rest of the planet, or I'm insane and I want to be on your face all the time.
Yeah, baby.
I just realized how that sounded, and I was like, oh.
I mean, yeah. I have zero problem with that, but
yeah, but it's just so the other than that, yes, other than that, I'm fairly certain that at some point I'll hopefully get to a point where, well, actually, in a way, I need to give myself credit. I don't really start relationships now. I don't go looking for them. I don't seek men. I don't chase men. I don't go out. I don't do any of that shit. The only men I've dated of any sort in the recent years have been men that have pursued me. They've made it a point to pursue me and make their existence in my life. They've made a point of that, and that's the only reason they ended up being anything to me, because otherwise I got no time for you. Like I'm like, otherwise. Okay, I'm gonna move us on. What is your favorite cuss word?
Nice. My favorite cuss phrase here lately has been "fuck a duck."
Oh, that's an oldie, man.
I know.
I like it.
It came back, man. I was like, wow, to the point where, and I really try not to curse around my kids. Well, at least the little guy, the 8-year-old, because my other kids, my older ones, my teenagers. I mean, I don't really care if they utter a curse word here and there, because I mean they're gonna. So I mean, it's like, I'd rather you not insult my intelligence by acting like you don't say anything. But it's gotten to the point where I say "fuck a duck" so much that I stubbed my toe or something the other day, and I went "fuck," and my 8-year-old goes, "A duck?" I'm like,
You
okay, I need
finished?
to watch this one.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That's crazy. Oh man, beer.
What's your favorite curse word?
I have an affection for the C word. For now, okay, my favorite is the F word. My favorite is fuck. That's my favorite cuss word. Shit show is one of my new favorite words of all time.
I like shit show.
It's a little different than a cuss word per se, but I think it's it replaced train wreck for me. I used to use the word train wreck a lot in describing certain types of situations or people, or the same thing with hot mess. I'd use hot mess a lot, but shit show is fucking rad. And then the F word, of course. And the reason I was saying that the C word has the reason I have an affection for it is because when I studied Tantra, I learned that the C word has in history, long before society deemed it this bad thing or this bad word. The C word actually meant something very divine. There was no negative connotation to it. There was no derogatory, anti-negative whatever at all around that word. And the reason it has the context it has is akin to how society will program humans or program people to believe a certain way. So it became a word that was used in a negative way to describe that part of a woman. And it was never meant to be like, that was not the point. It's similar. There's a couple of words like that where they're like the word gay. The original word of gay had nothing to do with your sexuality.
Right.
And so that has a lot to do. And I'm such a wordsmith that when I learn stuff like that, it sticks in my head. Like I won't remember necessarily every little detail I've ever been told, but I'll remember something like that, especially if there was adversity in there somewhere. Like I've been thinking a lot about doing a painting, in a true, like for the first time in a true kind of recreation type of manner of Gustav Klimt, because he was my favorite painter. And I'm thinking, I've never once, not even once, ever had his work out in front of me while I've been painting, but he still influences my work. And I don't know, for some reason, maybe all the art I'm doing or all of the talk I've been doing, I keep bringing up his name when I'm on my live art streams. Something in me wants to do a Gustav, not copy him, but I want to take one of his, but to pay homage to him and to do a painting that is my expression of love towards Gustav. Okay, are you going to do, I love what you're doing with this black. And what did you use? You're using still markers? You obviously are using markers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anytime I have a large area of black and I need it to be like, black, not, just a really dark gray, I will use either Sharpie. I know we're supposed to always use the super expensive markers, but I don't mind using a Sharpie for that because the markers are expensive, damn it. Or I will use, in the case of like her dress, which is going to have like a flow to it, I will use the black Tombow dual brush pen, which has a really cool tip like that. Yeah, okay. But it also,
I'm watching. I look. Are you using different shades of black as well, in addition to, because now that's gray?
Yeah, I'm using a cool gray 7 on this part right now because, just like I said with hair, it's never always the same color. So in order to show the folds in her dress, and that going in with this, and kind of helping differentiate where things are going to be. Now, I'm also going to use a couple of other different dark grays and lighter grays in this, just to kind of even it out, because right now it looks like, oh shit, his black marker ran out, so he had it covered up with, whatever he could be close to it.
Is she going to have G-string stockings on? Is that what I'm seeing on the leg?
Yeah, she's going to have stockings.
Okay.
I'm not going to do like fishnets or anything like that. She's just going to have like knee highs, and I'm keeping this like, just regular, like her leg.
Nice. That's, I don't think, I mean, that would be maybe a different Spotlights theme show, but fishnet or black stockings, like if you had to pick.
Black stockings.
I was gonna say, fishnet. There's nothing wrong with fishnet, but even the few times I've ever worn fishnet
No,
stockings,
I'm with you. You know, and there's nothing wrong with it per se, but if I have my choice,
if I get a choice in the matter.
and I'm really
Well,
weird about that stuff, I guess, because I have very particular, I guess, I don't know, but like black stockings, you know, of course, black outfits in general are kind of the way to my heart, but you know,
well,
I guess I'm still a little gothy at heart.
So what I was gonna say was I might wear fishnets, but I'm probably gonna put black stockings on underneath them. And like if they, and I think they've had them. I think I've seen them where like if it no, I'm here.
Cannot hear you.
You froze. Oh wait, there you are. Can you hear me?
No.
What the fuck? It says I'm here.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. You're muted. What's going on? The mic is muted. I'm here. Can't unmute your guest. It says your mic's not connected.
Is this the sign language portion?
Fuck. What is going on? Camera? Nope. I'm good. My camera's good. My microphone's good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. I can hear you. I can hear you fine. I hear and see you both. That's so weird that you can't hear me. Maybe your speaker. I can hear you, Dori. Oh, so he's not hearing you.
Okay, how about now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
What's up, buddy?
So, I don't know if lots of leftover pizza in the fridge is like for someone.
It was for Dominic and Shay, but you know, there's also I'd say you can eat one of the pieces, but there's also a sub in there.
Wait, what type of stuff is it?
I don't know. We can't hear you, Dori.
What?
I'm talking to Dori. Well,
Glenn?
Okay, but I can't hear you. Okay, Glenn can hear us both. Hang on, let me come back in here. Hang on. All right, try it now.
Can you hear me?
No? Hang on, let me go back. Let me go out and come in.
Okay. Well, we can still see his art. She's gonna, I can see the pumpkin. That should be pretty cool when he gets to the pumpkin. For those of you that are, if you're just joining, thank you so much for telling us, Glenn. I appreciate you. For those of you that are otherwise that are here, if you hadn't already guessed or noticed, Shawn is doing a pinup, and it is a Halloween inspired pinup. There you are. Can you hear me now? No? You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear us.
It's so weird.
That is weird. It's funny. Whatever it is, it's got.
Let's try it this way.
Okay. Both his mics are muted at the moment. I can tell from where I'm at. So we'll see what he's doing. Maybe switching devices. Uh-oh. Ooh. We get a different visual of the art. That's rad. I'm going to have to ask him if those are gloves that she's going to be wearing. I have a feeling they probably are, looking at the way the arm is. Oh no, that might be her hand. That might not be a glove. Maybe that's, I don't know. We shall see. You're muted both ways. Both mics muted. Let me tell him your mic is muted. Yeah, so he's got two cameras, but both of his mics are muted. Mics are muted. Oh, I wrote it, but I didn't put it on the screen for him. Duh. There you are. Can you hear me?
No, I can't. I can hear you through the camera that's on the art, but I can't hear you through the tablet.
Okay. Yeah, so both of your mics were muted, and I couldn't hear anything you were saying. So, but I can definitely hear you now.
Let me try something else. That's not it.
Oh, well, we lost him again on that camera. He definitely has the other still camera on his Punisher shirt. That's cool. Can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me. Can't hear you. You're muted. Okay, let's see. See what we got here. How about now?
All right. So
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
What the absolute?
Something, whatever speaker whatever speaker you're using is not working. Headphones? Do you have a pair of headphones? Will headphones work? My iPhone will turn my speaker down. It won't turn my speaker off, but it'll turn my speaker down. I don't know why you have something about your speaker. Can you hear me? Are you frozen? I think he's frozen. Yeah. Whatever that device is, I don't know if you can hear me, but whatever that device is that you have on you is freezing or is frozen.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? No?
No. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
What the hell?
What the hell? What the hell?
Okay.
Well. He's like, I don't know. We've lost each other.
Hold on. Maybe one other idea.
Um, can you hear me yet?
Not yet, but I'm trying to connect this speaker to it. Okay.
Oh, so he can't hear me. So for those of you watching, we are hoping we get Shawn back on. 50 years ago, the tech took us to the moon. Now we can't cross a state line. Oh, that's what you get for being Steve Seagal's twin brother. Aw. I'll have to leave these. I'll have to make sure he sees these when he's got himself back set up. I am, as you can see, Glenn, I switched over to work on some art alongside the master for today. I'm not going to do anything crazy and put my stuff full screen because it's just a cute little children's book. But I'm the first person to do not spoil the story.
Almost here.
Right?
No, it's cool. I thought you were leaving. What's up?
No, I was just like, you alright?
I'm just trying to get I can't hear her for whatever reason.
Oh, we lost his camera that was on.
Yeah.
This will make cute little storyboards. He should reboot his system. Yeah. Let me see.
on your computer. Turn it back on, old man.
I think that's what I'm gonna have to do.
All right. Well,
You want my cup of coffee?
Yes.
oh no, I gave my bear a scary smile. He should reboot his system. So add to stream. So his camera on him is frozen. The camera on the art looks like it's still set up. And then I have my, yeah. So I'm almost done. I'm actually almost, no, I'm not. I keep saying I am, but I'm so not. Crying. And put my words down at the bottom. Tears. And a bear. Nope. That's not right. Did I do? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. Anyway, I think I've lost Shawn. We still have his art on the screen, so this is funny. For those of you watching, I am just here along with Shawn, and he is working with some technical difficulties on his sound stuff. I turned my camera. I was going to do this anyway at some point, so I just started a little earlier. We're actually coming up on the time we're probably going to be done with today's show anyway. So if we don't get him back, then we don't get him back. I only have like a couple of more of these little guys to do, so I'll just stick around until I get to that end. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the belted tilted head. So no, that's not right. I said, "Cry introduced. I told them nothing to fear. Something wrong with you, man. I'm afraid. Very relieved. Help them up. Okay. Like, what happens next? I'm doing some storyboards for a submission I'm going to be giving to a friend for a children's story thing, and oops. This person. Oh, let's see. See what we got. Nope. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Way! Yay! Yay!
Success. Technology.
Yeah. So while you were missing in action, and we could see the art and stuff. Glenn Fleming said he could hear us. Okay, he said 50 years ago the tech took us to the moon. Now we can't cross the state line.
Pretty much.
And then he said, "Get this." Then he said, "That's what you get for being Steve Seagal's twin brother." I love that one. And then he said, "You should reboot your system."
That's
so you're all back. Yeah. So you're all up. You're back in order and you're back in business, which is rad. And I switched over for the last portion like we're over the hour anyway, Shawn. So, I didn't want to keep you much longer because I know you've been up super early for me, but are you at a stopping point now that I've got you all up and running, or do you want to go for another 10 or so?
Well, I can stop on this one. It's no problem.
Okay.
I typically have 20 million things to work on. And I wanted to tell you, actually, I was going to message you last night. I know you nominated me to show my workspace on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the middle of rearranging my workspace. So I'm like, let me get this to a good stopping point before I start showing people this giant mess that is me.
Well, that's all right. Yeah, you don't have to explain.
Well, I like to let you know that I'm not just like,
Shining. Just kidding. You're not just shining on me. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, that's fine. Fuck, man. I've only posted maybe, I think it's 7. You're supposed to do it for 7 consecutive days or some shit. And I think I might have done like 3 days worth or something. You don't even have to explain. I honestly don't even really like those kind of things. They're just too.
I don't normally do stuff like that, but
they're so akin to a. Glenn says rearranging his workspace. Been rearranging mine for 40 years. Well, my space is so tiny and small that for me, a lot of time, anything I want to do is like a game, starting a game of Tetris. I have to move stuff to get to stuff, then move that stuff to get to the other stuff, and then move that stuff to get to and literally stack and move and restack. And anyway.
yeah. And that's what I got tired of in here, because I have a big ass sunroom that I'm using for a studio, and it's great, but I have a lot of stuff apparently, and it all gets cramped and crowded. So it becomes a thing where, like you said, I gotta move this piece to get to here, and
Well, I'm at the so you missed it, and which is fine because I wasn't doing much anyway because I wanted to watch more.
I saw you were like, you know what? Screw him. I'm gonna work.
Can you tell? You know me well enough to know that that doesn't probably shock you either, right?
Right.
That I'm sitting here going, okay, well then I need to be writing, I need to be drawing, I need to be doing something.
What do you got going on?
So I have a children's story. It's a children's book. And I'm actually at a stopping point because I don't want to, I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I can't stand people that do that. I don't want to hear the fucking ending. So these are storyboards. These are little thumbnail storyboard things for my children's book because I am prepping it to submit it to a company, a publishing, to Mike. Okay, I'm Mike's and an ints, various ands and ints. Publisher. That's it. Publisher. I was trying to think of the name. Right? Publisher. Yeah. So anyway, if he likes it, I could have just sent him the text. I totally could have. There's my story. Woo! Look, I'm flipping it and I'm like, 1 second. Ah, there you go. That's all you get to see. So, when my kids were little, they loved stories. They loved story time. But I'm not a perfect mom, but I was such a good mom that I read everything to them more than once over and over. And I never told them no, because if my kids wanted to hear a story read to them, my answer was always yes. I would, why not? And so, but over time, they were like, make something up. Or, so at bedtime, I have a few different children's stories that came out of me at bedtime that were completely, truly from my imagination, and actually to some degree, there's a co-writer kind of thing going on in the spirit of my kids would be like, well, what about this? Or they would give me a little detail about maybe something I was saying. So I have 3 different, one I've already written and I've already published it. I have a children's coloring book I did called The Love Cloak. That one I've already published. But this is one I wanted to do, but I wanted to illustrate it. It's the other one I did is illustrated, but and it could at some point someday it would probably be good. It would probably be good to have someone re-illustrate it more flair. I did a coloring book version of it, I guess is how to put it. So the drawings are real simple, they're real basic. Am I talking too much?
Not at all. No, I enjoy hearing you talk, and I like how I like hearing you talk about your projects because you're excited by your projects. I hate hearing people who are just like, yeah, I'm doing this and it's gonna suck.
I can't. I have felt like that. I've had that feeling before, like when I was gonna do that G.I. Jane pinup representation thing I told you about. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but whatever. What?
You were thinking it was gonna suck? Huh? I was like, hell yeah.
Well, I kind of, but then I realized that was kind of an unwarranted emotion because I ended up doing her my way anyway, and so I'm almost done. I did the writing. I got to, so those children's stories are so old because those were written when it was written when my kids were little. And I've had like 3 or 4 different computers. So I had to take a printed copy of a printed one, and I had to scan it and do the OCR text recognition. I could have retyped it. I could have tried to just retype it from scratch, but I didn't. So I get through it, and I'm at the point now where I have to write the last 2 sections of it. There, the story has a flow and it has a whatever, and then they're at this point now where mostly what I have left to create. The visuals in here, I know exactly what's going to happen, but I have to put the text down because my last page of the little story page that has the ending is gone. It's not there. I know how it ends. It's kind of funny. I was just talking about spoilers, Shawn. I think this is a universe thing. The fact that I've just said something about spoilers, and the one part of my children's book that's gone from existence and I'll have to recreate it is the ending. Isn't that amazing?
It definitely is. I mean, do you
Right?
something that you want to change, or
no, it's actually technically the ending is going to be better. So changing, not really changing. It's similar. The answer's similar, and what happens is very similar. So I'm not changing it, but it's gonna. I was telling Mike Jimmy that doing these thumbnails, even though I'm doing stick figures and I'm not doing huge full drawings, already the story is much, in my opinion, better than what it was when on paper. Like there's a few, not extra scenes, but there's a few extra things I'm conveying and I'm simplifying it. Doing these thumbnails, even if I were going to do this myself, thank God I was prompted. He didn't ask me to do thumbnails. He didn't even tell me I had to do. I could have sent him the actual script and be done with this. I could have totally done that. But I'm glad that I'm just, because you know me, Shawn, I'm an overachiever. I'm like, well, if I'm going to submit this for consideration for publishing through his publishing thing, I'm going to do my own thumbnails or what? Because this is who I am. I'm like, oh, and Glenn knows this because he saw the post on Facebook. But do you know how hard it was for me to do thumbnails and not just sit here and sketch the fucking thing?
Yes, I do, because I've tried that, and because I wanted to get to a point where I started doing like preliminary sketches and stuff like that, because I don't usually do that kind of stuff,
Right.
and I wanted to do it because I felt like it would make me, come across as more professional or whatever. And I can't do it. I just have to get in here and do it the way I do it. And
The only thing I would tell you about that is if you ever wanted to, I would say if you were willing to do some sketches as just sketches, it would probably add to your already incredible category of inventory for people to buy. And I only say that because I think that I suspect you would probably do just as well selling your sketches as you do with your other stuff. There's a lot of people out there that want sketches.
It felt
Anyway.
like a warm hug. That was like, oh, I felt like the Grinch. My heart grew 3 times.
Well, and okay, and I don't think I've ever told you this story, and so if I have, you're just gonna have to listen to it again. So I in 2006, I go to New York. I go to a gallery. I go to an art showing of Gustav Klimt's work because he's my favorite painter, right? And I'm in this huge gallery of all these Gustav pieces, actual paintings. Even his Adele was there, and these are his. Now she was behind glass, so I could. It's not like I could touch anything. Not that I fucking would have. Oh my god. And I go through this entire huge room with all these paintings, these colors, the way I paint, okay, I'm not anything close to Gustav Klimt. But Shawn, I go off of this little side room they had set up. And in the side room of the exhibit was all of Gustav's little sketch cards and paper sketches, like his pre-sketches, sketch pieces of what he was going to put on the canvas. That room was full of them. And paintings like Adele and I can't remember how much it sold for. It was a lot of money because the family, it was captured during World War II. It has such a huge story behind it. And if someone could, the only painting of Gustav Klimt's I would have wanted more than the sketches is the kiss and maybe the 3 women one. But I kid you not, I understand, it finally clicked in here why people ask me to leave things sketched and untouched with paint and such. It really solidified in here when I think about the fact that I would have rather walked out of that gallery, not that they were selling his work, because it was not that kind of thing. It was an exhibit. I would have rather had one of his sketches. It's a trip. It's a trip. Glenn said that Adele sold for $125 million. Maybe I want the $125 million, but I would have done I would have sold that painting too. She's not the kiss. If I had the kiss, there's no fucking way would I ever give it away or sell it. That painting is in Vienna, I believe, and it doesn't tour. They don't allow the kiss to tour on stuff. But going back to what I was telling you about doing a Gustav painting in homage to Gustav, the 2 things I know going in, I have no idea which one of his paintings I will do to honor him. But I do know I'm going to do one that's as big as one of his paintings, which that in itself is a fucking challenge. Talk about a shit show challenge. You know how big Gustav's paintings were?
I've seen a few of them. They were pretty large.
Yeah. Whoa. Painted paintings, but this was a man who he was commissioned or was going to be put, I can't remember the name of the building, but they didn't allow it because they called his paintings pornographic and they felt he was pornographic. He did a lot of nudity. He did a lot of women nudity. And he had done these 3, there's this famous story about these 3 paintings one is called Medicine, and I can't remember the names of the other two, but I have it saved so that I can go back. But so he does these paintings because he was being not commissioned, but he was being considered to do the walls in this building or something. And when they got his submissions, he submitted 3 paintings to give them like a representation of what he would do. And he was publicly just shamed and called a pornographic, blah, blah, blah. And I think he actually did do the paintings in that building. I can't remember. I'll have to go back. But he never took public commissions after that. He never took work like that after that. He wouldn't. He refused to. After the way that he was treated publicly.
Yes, and I blame him.
And it makes me think sometimes of our conversations about your work, like, you know, if you don't mind me sharing, because when you were on my spotlights before, that thing about how you at one point couldn't do, or you didn't do women, or you didn't do some of the pieces that you do, the sexy images. And I just can't.
I'm not sharing that at all.
Yeah, so anyway, when I do get around to doing a piece like that, I want it to be one that. Oh, and a few of his paintings have been destroyed, or they're presumably destroyed. They don't exist anywhere, which means they're probably in a private collection somewhere.
I never understood that, because you see, you know, there's people who, you know, you always see it like in, you know, as a plot line in certain TV shows and stuff, people who have these private collections that no one ever gets to see. And I'm like, man, if I had all this wonderful art, I would let people see it.
No, dude, why? And open yourself up to people stealing it?
You know what? That's a good point. I didn't think of that. I'm sorry.
If I had Gustav Klimt's kiss, I probably would never let anyone know that. Like, I'd be like, or the only way I could see letting someone know that is if I could afford to, you know, trick out my house like Fort fucking Knox, because as soon as that's why those people with private collections, well, one, it's probably a private collection because they stole it.
That's true.
Or it's a private collection because they don't want someone to steal it. Or, you know, whatever their reasons are. It's similar to, I don't know. There's probably some, yeah, but there's a few of his, and it happens to a lot of painters. There's a few other painters out there that have these really crazy stories to their work before they passed, before they died, and even some, you know, crazy stories of stuff that happened after. Like almost all of, I want to say almost all of Gustav's stuff was confiscated by the Nazis during World War II. Hitler had Gustav's paintings were in control of the regime, or whatever they call that, the right, Third Reich. I can't remember. I don't know my history that well. My oldest son would be able to cite me exactly to the T any of this stuff about that. He loves history. So moving us on, I am at a stopping point, and we've been at this a little over almost an hour and a half. Before we go anywhere, I'm going to put I've got your artwork in solo layout for a bit, and I was going to give you the opportunity of letting our viewers who are watching know what you are doing, what this piece is, and is this going to be available for sale?
Yes, this is going to be available for sale.
Okay.
Basically, this is just a Halloween themed pinup, because I, like a lot of people, I'm just done with summer at this point.
Right.
I'm ready to get to fall, steal my hoodie weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But so I was going to ask you this. Yeah, you were having mic issues, so I couldn't tell. And now it makes sense because I can see it. But I couldn't tell if you were going to have her arm fleshed out or if you were putting a glove on her. So are those lace gloves?
Yeah.
Aha.
Yeah. to stay the hell away from lace. But now I enjoy drawing it because it's
Is it akin to drawing hair? Like, because I love hair too. I love doing the hair.
oh yeah, definitely.
Is the lace
It's very much the same. You know, it's just you can kind of go nuts a little bit with the patterns and stuff. It doesn't always have to be, you know, a cool pattern, and you can shadow things that you don't want to draw. You know, there's always those little tricks.
Did I show you, or did you see the I wonder if I have it on here so I could show you. So in addition to hair and like lace and things, I do this thing, and I'm just going to show you one real quick. And I know that you actually are a sweetheart, and you follow my art, and you actually look at it and you pay attention to it.
I love your stuff.
Have you seen this yet?
I saw part of it. That's the G.I. Jane Egyptian warrior.
Yeah. So do you see the detail? Do you see what I did? I know it's kind of not close up, but I like akin to kind of what you do, like what you were describing for the lace and maybe the hair. I love when I'm doing a piece, I love all of those folds and creases, and I take something as simple as the creases like she's got under her bra, and I'll make all these like weird like curly designs in there and some extra lines, and I'm only mentioning it because I had someone say something about it to me one time, and I was like, well, you know, it's kind of like, how do I, you know, I like ornate things. Do you remember in like our old buildings or some maybe architectural type designs, there was more there was more to molding, there was more to a corner of the room, like there was, or they maybe had those intricate little like even on the outside of a building, they'll have all that concrete extra special design and decorative stuff.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes, like the Art Deco design stuff where, I mean,
yeah.
It was made to just be, it was made to be pretty. And, you know, it wasn't.
Like that. Just
like,
so
this building's going to have a bank in it and nobody's going to really want to come here.
Right.
They're going to look and be like, yeah, that's a cool building.
Yeah, like I'm all about I like clean lines too. There's like I can totally get drawn into some of the more clean line things, but the Empire State Building was one of my favorite buildings. I like the intricacy of those. I'm trying to think of what it's called. It doesn't matter, but one of my friends, Baroque. So there was a period of art called the Baroque period, and Baroque artwork had a lot to do with using architectural. I'm gonna go look it up because I know you would, because I've seen the way you do some of your backgrounds, and Baroque was relating to or denoting a style of European architecture, music, and the art of the 17th. Blah 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 blah. Where is the ornate? That's it. Ornate detail, Shawn, was the word I'm looking for. Fuck, I couldn't remember. So I do this thing, even with something as simple as clothing, I will, rather than just draw the shirt, I have to put all this ornate style to it that brings it, it makes it seem kind of out of, it takes away the realism. And I know I don't want it to look like it came out of a photograph. And I love that. I think you have a huge amount of abstractness to the way you do some of your scenery. Like, yeah, it's absolutely what it is, and I can tell it is what it is, but you add a lot of abstract detail that I love to your work.
Oh. When I hear people like, you know, especially you know, my stuff, it's so nice because, you know how it is. I mean, half the time we don't think we're good at this at all. You know, we think that we're, you know, just kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna, you know, people are buying it, so I'm gonna do it. But holy shit, You know, eventually they're going to figure out that I'm not good at this. And, well, you don't probably deal with that because you're awesome. But
Oh my God, you
I
But
deal
you're
with it all the time.
I'm just kidding. So
Like that Wonder Woman that I just finished, man, I was scrutinizing it so hard, and I'm like, oh man, nobody's gonna want this. You know, her eyes are all weird and everything else, and no, it sold quick, and I'm like, damn, okay, awesome. Maybe I don't suck. Yeah.
have you considered doing, or maybe you have, maybe you sold them and did it, or you did them and sold them. Have you considered doing a Wonder Woman series where you do each of the different actresses that have played her?
Yeah, I have. I thought about doing well, not necessarily exactly what you just said, but I thought about doing, because the two main ones are like Linda Carter, who,
Yeah,
good, she's still amazing, and
of course.
no, yeah, we'll get on that topic again.
And Gail,
and
and
Gal
Gail.
Gadot. Yeah, and I
But
thought
get
about
this,
just doing that.
do you know that a lot of the animated series, there's been a lot of animated Wonder Woman series stuff or animations that have been done, and it was voiced by Lucy Lawless?
I did not know that.
And she's never played Wonder Woman, but she, of course, now they probably wouldn't have her play her unless they wanted her to be a 50-something-year-old woman. But she voices her. She voices her in a bunch of animation, and I'm just, anytime I think of something like that, I think that done in your way or with your style, like you already know, I think you should do a Farrah Fawcett. I think you should do the Charlie's Angels. I think you should do what was the next one, the new one I was thinking of that I wanted to tell you about? The Helen Mirren. Helen Mirren, of course. But a series of Wonder Women is a suggestion, Shawn. My other suggestion is you do all of the Cat women. Do all of them. Eartha Kitt, the girl, what was the one before her?
Lee
Michelle Pfeiffer, Halle Berry. Do a whole series of the Cat women.
I'm down.
I'm just saying, I can't tell Shawn what to do, but I sit here and I think, what would be hot? Because it's hot. Cat woman is hot.
All you want here.
Well, I wouldn't be able to toss you, which is part of the attraction. One of my stand-up jokes is if you look like I can toss you around as opposed to you tossing me, this won't work, bro. Move on. I'll pass.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I will continue to give you suggestions like that.
Well, you got in my head the other day because after first of the year, I'm going to be putting out my pinup art book, or more accurately, my cheesecake art book. But and then you got me thinking with the Farrah Fawcett conversation and Helen Mirren and stuff. I was like, what if I did another art book just of like iconically beautiful women?
Right.
I mean, who love that? I mean,
absolutely.
Like Kim Basinger,
Kim Basinger. Yep, Cindy. Yep. Derek was another one I suggested to you. Like the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, we like the same thing.
You could even do Ripley, because the scene where she's in the little t-shirt and underwear towards the end of the movie, because sometimes it's not even sex symbol iconic, like iconic beautiful women that done like kind of similar to like when I wanted to do a G.I. Jane, for example, the G.I. Jane I would envision you would fucking kill perfect is the scene where she's doing the push-ups with one arm. Do you know what I'm?
I had to think for a second. I was like,
talk about yeah, like it, yeah, I know she's doing push-ups, and it's more of a moment where she's a kind of a, you know, doing this manly thing, push-ups, if we want to call that a manly thing. But I think of these iconic, like, because I know you do a lot of pop culture, you do a lot of what's popular, a lot of that kind of thing, and I'm just trying, like, my brain was racking. I'm like, man, there's this, you know, maybe we should talk offline and not give out any ideas to other people out there, other creators. But
let them all do it. I mean, I'm going to do, yeah. But touching on what you just said, you know, that to me, there's just something about, okay, so like when Terminator 2 came out, that scene where Linda Hamilton's doing the pull-ups.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I was like, yeah, that was like 91. So
exactly.
I was like 14.
When you think of iconic moments, iconic women in a scene like that.
Yeah. Even, oh God, I cannot remember her name, the actress's name. She played Vasquez in Aliens, you know, where she's doing the pull-ups next to the guy, and he goes, hey, Vasquez, did anybody ever mistake you for a man? And she looks at him and goes, no, you. And,
I love that. I love that line.
I just love badass women, man. I mean, Sarah Connor, you know.
Well, Charlize Theron. Okay, Charlize Theron. She's got a few movies you can choose from. She's got the Suicide Blonde thing, I think it's called, or the one, no, Atomic Blonde. But she also, get this. Ooh, oh my God, my brain just exploded, Shawn. Have you ever, do you know who Aeon Flux is?
Oh, yeah.
The cartoon?
Yeah, I used to watch that.
Can you imagine doing a pinup, sexy Aeon Flux? Gotta go by. You know what I'm talking about? Like, can you imagine? Because that's one of those. Now, it may not be as known or as popular, but it's the kind of thing that would catch my fucking attention. It would make me walk over to someone's booth if they had a pinup, huge pinup color version of her. Not Charlize. Charlize played the character pretty good. I didn't mind Charlize as the character, but a representation of the woman in the cartoon. Oh fuck yeah, that's hot.
Yeah,
all right, well,
Charlize is awesome though.
Yeah, she is. I'm going to sign us out of here because you and I have a lot of I will brainstorm. I will continue to send my suggestions, and you will do what you're going to do. But I'm going to sign us out of here and take us offline. You want to stick around? Stick around till the end.
I can stick around for a little bit, but I'm about to have to run my son to his girlfriend's house.
Oh, you're more than welcome to leave while the video's playing. You're more than welcome to sign out and go. I will not be offended or upset if you are gone when I'm done playing the exit video.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, and thank you for being gracious and understanding of my tardiness this morning. I will talk to you.
Late, trust me.
And I'm sure, as always, I'll talk to you later, even maybe later today, tomorrow. We'll talk of at some point. We're almost to the point where we message each other at least maybe once a day.
I know. Yeah, I need my Dori fix every day.
Oh, well, you know where to find me. I'm not hard to find. Even though there was a movie called Finding Dori, I'm not hard to find. All right. Well, thank you, and thank everyone. And trust me, I will not be upset if you have to go, because I need a human break myself. So I won't be upset if you sign out while I've got the video playing. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.